All right, here we go for our lesson 4 video homework. Lesson 4 is representing decimals. Our essential question for the chapter: how does the position of a digit in a number relate to its value? So we're thinking about the place value chart. Ones and tens, tenths and hundredths, and so on in both directions. Example 1. A bee hummingbird weighs only about 56 thousandths of an ounce. It's almost difficult to understand how small that is. Here's that hummingbird. Represent this fraction as a decimal. Then write it in word form. So if we have 56 of our thousandths cube, we're going to shade in 56 small cubes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tens rods for 50, right? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And then 6 individual cubes. Okay, so we've shaded it in. Now we need to write it as a decimal. This is a thousandths cube, so I need to make sure that I have my place value chart represented all the way through the thousandths. Okay, now I take my smallest amount, those individual units, count them up. I have 6 of them, and then I have 5 tens rods. That's my next largest number, and the rest of this is not shaded in, so I have none of those. Okay. The fraction, so even though the 6 is a bigger digit than the 5, it's smaller because it is on the right hand side, so the value is less, and it is the individual cubes. Those are smaller, right? These are worth more. Okay. The fraction names thousandths, so there should be 3 digits to the right of the decimal point. Oh, I guess I did that all already. So whenever we're here, we've got tenths, hundredths, and thousandths. Okay, you can make some sort of little notation so that you know how far you went out. Write 56 thousandths in word form. So to the top, we would have 56 thousandths. Example 2. Model 35 hundredths. Then write it in word form and decimal form. So by model, we're shading it in, right? We have 35 of the small squares, but we know that the 3 also means 3 groups of 10. 10, 20, 30, with 5 individual squares. That ran into the other one a little bit. The fraction names 35 hundredths. So as we get better at reading fractions, it's 35 hundredths. So there should be 2 digits to the right of the decimal point. Right? This would be tenths. This would be hundredths. The unit cubes that I have are 5. The tens rods that I have are 3. 3. And then when we read this decimal, we say 35 hundredths. Guided practice. Shade the model, then write each fraction as a decimal. Those are my directions, so I have to do 2 things. 2 tenths. I have the tenths place. How many do I have? 2. That's all you have to do. Decimal. Oh, I'm sorry. That's where I was supposed to put it. 58 hundredths. Okay, so again, I have a hundredths grid here. I'm gonna put my 50 in first, so 5 tens rounds, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 individual unit cubes. Alright, so here I'm thinking about my decimal, my tenths, and my hundredths. My individual cubes here are 8. My groups of 10 are 5. And that is the decimal version of 58 hundredths. Last but not least, I have 95 thousandths. So I have a thousandths cube. I have less than 100 here, so I won't even shade in this entire front face. But I do have almost a full, so I'm going to do my groups of 10, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. And then 5 cubes. 3, 4, 5. Alright, and then as a decimal, tenths, hundredths, 5 individual units that are smaller, 9 groups of 10. There we go. Be sure to do your independent practice in class. So now that you've done the video, all of this will be in class with Mrs. Davis. I'll give you lots more instruction. I'll tell you which problems to do. Have a great day.